So for our resident time travel show, I had said that I had hoped the Earth Totem was going to be a Swamp Thing reference. Considering the fact that Swamp Thing, Animal Man, Vixen draw off the red, the green, all that stuff in the comics, I was kind of hoping. Then again, in the comics, this is what they call Wave Rider.
Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing
Legends of Tomorrow, Episode 12, The Curse of the Earth Totem. Arr, yippee, a pirate episode. Arrgh. And we're at Nassau with... I'm not doing that. We're at Nassau with Blackbeard. But this is also the return of Rip Hunter, although he needs some help. Specifically, he needs a tiny little favor from Wally West. And going with this, we have the entire arc that is going about the totems. And now the fire totems, we've been told, was destroyed, and Damien Dark already has it, which I'm still kind of hoping we get Jax back, and that we have Firestorm powered by the fire totem, because we did have Fire Elemental Stein for a while. But either way, tonight's episode's all about this green stone. That is the Earth Stone. Stones are Marvel. The Earth Totem. You know, I have to say, though, the more I dig into this, the more I realize that there's a lot of crossover between them. But alright, what do I do here? What I do is I dissect stories. I take them apart, figure out why and how we tell them. And then I do reviews as they come up, and I do theory videos on Sundays. Right now I'm holding a contest to give away a $20 Amazon gift card because I hit 100 subscribers. If you're interested, click subscribe now. But for now, we're talking about the five totems that represent the five elements, because Zambezi was formed out of the five tribes. Weren't five tribes in Wakanda too, over in Black Panther? Is there an African cool thing about with five tribes? I think did they do research, or is that a coincidence? Either way, we also have a date night tonight. But before we get into specifics, let's throw this up there.
So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time.
So a little more recap. Isis here has the air element, and she was told she's one of the six. Why six? Well, everyone's assumed that there's a sixth unknown totem. Power of heart? No, okay. Either way, the two vixens still have the other totem, the animal totem, which I guess they're saying is the spirit totem in this. And that's pretty cool. The current vixen is in Chicago, and the past one that was from World War II is currently time traveling with the legend. Then Isis has the air one, and the other one has the water one. Kawasha? Yeah, Kawasha. And of course, our current vixen still has the spirit one. So that only leaves fire, earth, and unknown. So, tonight's episode is all about trying to find those two. Damien Dark gets the fire one, and the earth one is the main thrust of the episode. Like I said, it's a pirate episode because Blackbeard stole it. And we see at the beginning of the episode that it drags you down to hell with vines that so felt like it could be a Swamp Thing thing. Come on, Swamp Thing! But of course, Damien Dark shows up there as well. In fact, it's a pretty cool thing because they tell this whole story about how Amaya Vixen is this big badass, and even a more big badass than Blackbeard, and then she has to prove it, even after her totem gets taken. And I cannot stress enough that you need to remember she was a spy in World War II, and she was a superhero much longer than any of the others were, as a member of the Justice Society. So this seems pretty fitting that she should be that badass. In fact, if anything, I have a problem with her doubting how awesome she is. Because, well, she is that awesome. And I liked Mick's advice to her. Live like a pirate. Only live for today for now. Rules are for suckers. Meanwhile, we have that date night. Specifically, Sarah is going out with the head of the Time Bureau. And it's actually pretty sweet for a moment or two. It's more than a little fun to see the two of them trying to let their hair down and just be normal. And I mean, isn't that the problem with every relationship? How do you just pretend to be normal? Of course, it doesn't help that Gideon's calling you and being like, hey, just FYI, they took the ship and went after Blackbeard and everyone's gonna die, so please try not to all die. Thanks. Meanwhile, I can't think of his name now. But the guy that's always the butt monkey of everyone gets his ID and cell phone and time displacement device stolen. So they both end up having to call it a night, especially when Sarah sees the Wave Rider going down. And I have a problem with that too. How does the Wave Rider get shot down by normal cannonballs? Shouldn't that tech be super better than that? And as long as we're talking about problems I have with the show, yes, alright, fine, Bermuda Triangle did something, yeah, okay, Damien Dark did something, whatever, insert. But at the same time, we have the clock ticking in multiple stories, multiple different time periods. And you know what? That's not how time travel should be working. I mean, seriously. You could spend 100 years refitting the Wave Rider and still jump back to 5 minutes after you left, right? Alright, well, obviously they can't for some reason because they need to get the Wave Rider back up into fighting shape before they can travel back, even though it's time travel. Meanwhile, there's another story. Rip has gotten Wally West to steal. Oh, why can't I think of his name? Oh, Gary. It's Gary. Gary's pass information. And then his coat from the storage room. So you think that that means that Wally and Rip are going to go on some sort of crazy, whip roaring adventure. But you have to remember, Wally's still suffering from the fact that he and his girlfriend broke up through a breakup cube, which has got to be one of those crappiest things ever. And he also has a problem with the fact that he doesn't quite fit in back home. And it's kind of cool that they realized why. When Rip says, "Hey, you're a genius," he sits there and goes, "Yeah, you're a genius, like Barry and like Cisco and like, or no, Cisco's a genius, yeah, like Barry, like Caitlin, like Wells." At the end of the day, everyone at Star Labs is a genius. And just really smart engineering kid Wally West, who just happens to be cool and badass, just doesn't quite stand up to that. Which is sad, because Wally's my favorite. And I really liked the coupling of him with Jesse almost immediately when they're both their parents, both their fathers, locked them in the time vault. And I'm like, yeah, locking attractive children of opposite sex in the time vault in the middle of a stressful situation is like, damn, you want grandkids that bad? But so Rip and Wally end up in the 90s singing karaoke at some bar. And it was actually pretty funny. And you know what? Unless there was some sort of shenanigans, their voices aren't too bad. Meanwhile, back at the main plot, Heatwave and Vixen have been left with the dread pirate Blackbeard, I keep wanting to say Roberts, and they need to go find that Earth Totem. But the curse and this, that, the other thing, and Damien Dark's already on the way. But Amaya has to rally Blackbeard's crew and almost mutiny against him to get them to get to the island. And all of that's pretty cool, but I would like to point out that there really were pirate queens. Pirates could just as easily be women, because there were several famous ones that were just as bloodthirsty as their male counterparts. Now, here in this story, we also get the fact that the totem is capable of cursing you and making you undead and, like, still part of it. And I will admit, the vines, well, maybe they were a little more ivy than swamp thing. They were close enough. And I did like the whole fact that those totems are heavy and they weigh on you. And the fact that knowing that allowed Vixen to talk her way at least partially out of this. But then we also get a callback to the episode Constantine was in. Remember that anti-magic gun? The one that had nanite technology duplicating the effects of the cold and the heat gun hitting each other? Well, booyah, we see it actually take someone down. Nora Dark. Now, they had her dead to rights, but of course, Ray's too good of a guy to take that shot. So he has to develop a cure. And that, of course, bites him in the ass because, well, it's Ray, so everything bad has to happen. And now next week he'll be held captive. It just kind of sucks that one of the most heroic things done, one of the most superhero-like things, ends up getting a boot to the face. Now, I know Constantine's coming back, I know Wally's going to be on the team for a while, but I don't know. I just feel like Ray should be being given a little more respect. Meanwhile, a big old special shout out to the fact that our new power couple on the set, really kicks ass. Now, I like both characters individually, but I really like when they're fighting together. Part of me also kind of likes the Steel Vixen thing, although that was a little weird. And like I said, we know that Wally's going to be joining the team. I did like Rip's whole sales pitch. Some would even say they become legends. But overall, this was a pretty good episode with a few minor flaws. What did you guys think? Let me know down in the comments section. Do you think that time travel working out the way it is weird or not? Especially when there's multiple time travelers. And of course, I need a like and a share because I'm still trying to grow this community. So if you haven't already, click the subscribe button to stay tuned for all of my crazy thoughts and stories. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to try to get together with all of the superhero shows and figure out stuff, and of course respond to your comments that you leave on the Ask Me Anything video that I only had 4 questions on. But in the meantime, I hope you have a good night, and thank you for walking with me through the heart of the stories we tell.